Welcome to episode 39. Before we start, we were all deeply saddened to hear that Carl Weathers has sadly passed away. We would like to first and foremost send all our thoughts and sympathies to Carl Weathers' family and friends. This episode is dedicated to him, our High Magistrate. Be peace. Welcome, Explorer, to episode 39. And as always, joining me today, we have a lady more sophisticated than Canto Bight itself. It's Taylor.
Hello there.
And speaking of Canto Bight, a man who likes to gamble but never tell him the odds, it's the Wookiee fanatic himself, Jimmy.
Howdy.
So, start with you, Taylor. How's your week been?
It's been a good week. Building Ajan Kloss at my zoo, and I'm halfway done, so almost done. Woo!
Nice. What about you, Jimmy? Been busy?
Oh my gosh, yes. And it just kind of right into this week and everything else, and busy. And this week coming up is just as busy. So yes, very busy. How about you, Jack?
I've been suffering in the cold this week. We've been out in the field, had a bit of a cold snap, so practically living on half is the best way I could describe it. But yeah. So, as always then, we've got a bunch of new followers again. Thank you so much for everybody hitting us on the socials at Explore the Force on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. So first off, we'd like to welcome David Kilsh, Ross Sambridge, obviously honoured guest that we had last week, Darren Bailey, Benjamin Greaves, Chris Anair, Danielle Ward, Stephen Wickham, Gemma Reed, and last but not least, good friend of mine, Mike Acton. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Hope you enjoy the content. As always, feel free to post away. I know that Benjamin Greaves already has with a stunning job of his son's bedroom. So,
yeah!
Anyone
So
wants
cool.
the bedroom doing, just drop the DM straight to Benjamin. Okay? Awesome job. Thank you so much, guys, for following us. Okay, then let's go on to this week's Force Encounters. Now, for me, obviously, I was in the field, so I didn't really get much or have any Force Encounters because I was too busy freezing. What about you guys? You got anything, Taylor?
Yeah, just a little one. On my drive to work the other day, I was listening to Rock 101 and their grand IQ test for $1,000, which they do in the mornings. The question was, what was the filming location for Tatooine? And that was the $1,000 question, which they never have Star Wars stuff on. And I'm like, turn it! Like screaming in my car. And the guy didn't even get it right the first time. And then they had a second caller who came in and said it. And it was just like, maybe I should have actually just called in, but instead of just yelling at my dashboard. But anyways, just a little bit of a Star Wars-y encounter this week.
Nice. What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, so we've got our big league meet coming up this week, and the coaches have been planning and strategizing. We feel like we're kind of going up against the Empire, the team that we've beaten the last few years. It's kind of regained its strength. I feel like the Rebels going up against the Death Star this weekend coming up. So, just trying to guide the boys and everything like that. So just kind of like the master and apprentice, get them ready, get them focused for the good and the bad if it happens. And, sometimes you forget about those life lessons and you think about, obviously the world we love and we talk about is made up, but there's a lot of life lessons that come from those shows and things like that.
So many.
Being able to take some of that stuff and talk to the boys about, patience and everything and just taking it as it comes and stuff like that. So we've been doing that a lot. And then, of course, this comes out on a Tuesday and we'll be in full ramp mode towards the league on Friday and Saturday. So we'll be getting a lot of do or do not. There is no try. And, your focus determines your reality and all those good things. So, yeah, we'll be dropping some Star Wars knowledge on them this week.
And they're like, God, Master Jedi, Master Jimmy, he's just so smart.
Yeah, none of them would ever call me Jimmy, so they know better than that.
Master Adams. Oh, coach, sorry.
Awesome. And so with that then, let's head over to Batu then and see what news we've got coming out of there.
Hasbro has announced a new series of collector toys called Hasbro Hero Epic Series. In the first wave, we have Mando and Grogu, Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, and Ahsoka. Also coming is a Stormtrooper and a personal favorite of Jax, Paz Vizsla, and Sabine Wren. So I haven't got a chance to look at these things yet, but they sound pretty awesome. And just more collectibles. So woohoo!
Yeah. They're looking pretty sick. I think they're 4-inch scale models as well.
Very nice.
Another money spinner for Disney. I'm sure people out there collecting them.
Next, we have Ewan McGregor was at Film Festival this weekend, and he said that there has been no talk of a Kenobi season 2 so far. But I feel like we've already heard that they're talking about it a little bit, but it's pretty much just been confirmed by everybody that they're not really interested in doing another one right now.
Yeah. I think that's definitely on the back burner, if I'm honest. What do you reckon, Jimmy?
Yeah, I don't know what the story would be. Although, if they took the book by, was it, I can't think of the guy's name. He's writing I think he's the one who's writing in the Living Force. But they took that story. It all happens on Tatooine. There's nothing. It's a really fun story. It's a lot deep dive into Tusken lore and stuff like that. That might be a pretty cool. I'd love to see that story come to life, and it's these characters outside of anything you have to worry about. Because I don't even think Luke and stuff like that's barely in that book. He just kind of oversees with no interactions. You wouldn't have to worry about anything like that, and you could jazz that up a little bit more. But yeah, I think it would be a great TV show, and you could probably do it in 8 episodes pretty easily.
John Jackson Miller.
Yeah, that's it. John Jackson Miller. I love that book.
Me too.
Me that it's not canon, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But then Obi-Wan could just go off on his own stories, and they could change it so he doesn't even go by Obi-Wan anymore, and this is him separating from.
Yeah, and that
would be so good.
Yeah, they talk. It's all Ben, things like that. So I think it would be a smart way to do it and kind of build that. Later on in A New Hope, when they're like, "Oh, that man's just a crazy old wizard," build that up.
Yeah.
So when you hear that line,
100%.
You're like, "Oh, dang!" It's just like seeing Beru and Uncle Owen, in that series, and then the next time you watch A New Hope and you see their carcasses, you're like, it hurts a little bit more, So.
I still love that meme where it's the picture of the burned bodies, and then it's Owen and Beru, and they're like, "He believed it. He's gone." That's a good one.
And finally, in sad news, we lost 2 amazing actors this week in Carl Weathers, who we all know was Grief Karga, and also Les Conrad, who was in the originals as a Stormtrooper, Hoth Rebel, a Gamorrean guard, and he was also an uncredited Naboo civilian in the Phantom Menace. So again, our thoughts and prayers are all going out to their friends and family. And that pretty much wraps up the news for this week. Okay, Explorer, so this week's main topic that we're going to discuss is Asajj Ventress. Now, there's been major hype at the minute with the return of Ventress. I don't know if people have already read the book. However, this week we were lucky to be joined by none other than Michelle C. Smith. This lady has been all over the internet on fan-made videos of her wielding lightsabers, showing off her martial arts skills, and boy is she talented. She took the time out today to chat to us three all about her role, what she'd like to do with Star Wars, and also about her staff wielding skills. So, enjoy. Okay, Explorers, joining us today, we have a very special, talented person. Today, joining us, we have Michelle C. Smith. Now, for those that don't know, Michelle does some incredible stunt work and acting, and is also known to dabble as a producer. She's starred in many things, such as Deadpool, where she helped double up as the supervillain Angel Dust, I think it was called, and also Fort Salem and Red Riding Hood. More recently, she was massively popular on the Reddit forums for her live-action fan-made film of Asajj. Now, after watching this, myself, Jimmy and Taylor, we all agree that you are 100% the person Disney need to hire as a live-action Asajj Ventress.
Yes.
For
It's
sure.
a dream. It's a dream.
Obviously, first question we've got to ask is, what's your favourite Star Wars film and why?
Well, my favorite Star Wars film, I'm going to go throw it back to the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to say Return of the Jedi, but it might actually be Empire Strikes Back. When I was younger, I liked Return of the Jedi because the Ewoks were cute.
Okay.
And I kind of wanted one. They're kind of like cats and dogs. I just wanted one. But I think as I've gotten older, I think I appreciate Empire Strikes Back a little
Yeah.
bit more, and the way it sets up the story. And yeah, I'm gonna stay hard and true to those original three.
All right. That's a good place to be. This may be a silly question, Michelle, given the topic of our conversation today and the stuff that you're getting well known for. But who would you say your favorite Star Wars character is at the moment?
Oh, I wonder. It's definitely my favorite Star Wars character is definitely Asajj Ventress,
All
and
right.
I only recently, within like the last couple of years, discovered her. As I've been posting online and people have been suggesting characters that I should play, I get a lot of Mara Jade and
Yeah.
Asajj came up, and so I was starting to like look these people up. I'm like, who are these people? And then I saw Ventress, and I was like, it's me.
She's awesome.
I want that. I want to be that person. And
Yeah.
I resonated in a way with her story, and so like if that's the way in, that's the way I'm gonna push for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, she is a. I think she's a pretty big fan favorite. She's kind of like
Yeah.
the. I think she's kind of like the next Darth Maul, where she
I
didn't get a
think
lot of
so.
action, but now she's kind of like with this resurgence, and we'll see what happens with obviously the Bad Batch season 3 and all the hysteria that's being created. But yeah, I can
Yeah.
see why
I
you
love
would
that.
be drawn. And if you've seen Michelle's videos and you see all the acrobatics, I mean, you basically are Asajj Ventress running around flipping
Yeah.
and throwing
Essentially.
your
Yeah.
lightsaber.
I feel a certain kinship, yes. But even with her backstory of being this like really highly trained person and then everything going sideways, I'm like, I've been training since I was a child too, and I feel misunderstood, and I obviously didn't go to the dark side, but
Not
I
yet.
get it. I get it.
Yeah. so so why would you be the perfect Asajj Ventress live action then?
I mean, obviously the hair works, especially for like Bad Batch style.
Love the hair. Love the hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will absolutely shave my head. If they, I have like that's one of the reasons I cut my hair short. No, I think that in terms of energy and intensity, like she's so just like, ugh!
Yeah.
And I've often felt that I have that, and I've gotten in trouble because I do that, and then I get told I'm too much, and she's just out there letting it all out. Plus, she's very well trained. I'm very well trained. She
Mm-hmm.
likes dual sabers. I love dual weapons and dual sabers. Like that's one of my favorite ways to utilize like sticks and stabs and lightsabers and stuff. So
Yeah.
I feel like skill wise we match, but also energy and intensity we match.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm so surprised that they don't have a live action Ventress already because she's such a cool character.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, maybe it's just like, maybe this is my way in because I've been trying to get into Star Wars for years. I'm just like, maybe this is it. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it would definitely be a dream. I have no expectations, obviously, but like,
Yeah.
if they called me, I would throw together a really great audition and do my best. Like, really, all I want to be in contention. That's it. That's like
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
whoever they pick is beyond my control. But I just want to be considered. That's it.
I
Yeah.
can definitely see. I can definitely see the intensity. Again, watching your
Yeah.
videos and the way you're just flicking lightsabers like I don't know, like the TV remotes, and flawlessly catching things, and then the fluidity of the movement as well. It's like water like. I know that's massive in
Thank
martial
you.
arts, and it's same with Ventress. You
Mm-hmm.
can see that. Um, Obviously, you're a stunt performer and stuff like that. How did you get into the profession of acting, or did you start off as a stunt performer first and then move into acting?
Acting has. Oh, my cat Ozzy has joined us.
Hi,
I
Ozzy.
started off. He's such a good lap cat. I started off when I was a kid. I was a baton twirler and a dancer. I competed at the highest level, like went to worlds and all that. So that's where like the manipulation
Nice.
skills come from. And then
Awesome.
as soon as I graduated, face full of Ozzy here. As soon as I graduated from high school, I moved out to start working professionally, and I started as a professional dancer. Needed more, and so then I joined a circus company and performed with a professional circus company for
Oh.
about 10 years. And so somewhere in there, I started meeting stunt performers, and I was realizing that a lot of the skills and information
Yeah.
knowledge I was building was like really setting me up for a stunt career. And then the huge part of stunts, I think that maybe audiences don't realize is it's a lot of acting. It's a lot of physical acting. We may not always be speaking, but you have to be
Hmm.
present in a scene. You have to embody characters and creatures. And so
Oh yeah.
as soon as I started down the path of stunts, I was learning martial arts and I was in acting classes. And I've been sort of so I've been doing stunts now for about 15 years, and I've been pursuing acting on the side.
Yeah.
And then just recently, just where I'm at in terms of like age and how my body feels now, I'm like, okay, I'm good to like put a little hold on stunts, and I'm just going to go full out on acting because now like I've established myself as somebody that can do action. So now I'm
Yeah.
going to like really push for acting. And that was sort of always my plan because stunts has always had a timeline, and acting, like I can do that till I'm 80. So,
Yeah.
or
Of
Yeah.
probably
course.
even longer. So like I've just like in the last year or so have been like, oh, I reached that point. All right. Now I'm going full out. And
Yeah.
it's challenging because so much of working in film is out of your control.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I'm doing my part. I have my social media, like I'm connecting with people, I'm doing the hustle, I'm in classes, and like that is what you do when you're an actor, and you're just sort of waiting for somebody to see you and be like, ah, that's the person we need. And
Yeah.
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 hopefully you book some stuff, which
Hopefully, I think the stars
yeah,
are definitely aligned. You know,
I hope
everything
Yeah.
so.
definitely
I feel good about
happens
it.
for a reason. Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
know?
it
Do you
feels like
know
the right
any?
time.
Do you know any other actors or anything like that? Um, I can put this. Do you know anyone that works for Disney or any Star Wars actors or anything like that?
I do know a few people. I know a lot of stunt people that have worked
Yeah.
on things. I know a few people, not like super well, but like I think you know people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really want to name drop, but I do know a few people
Yeah.
who are working, and I do know that they've seen my stuff.
Awesome.
Good.
So I think it's if I'm gonna get in there again, this is totally out of my control, and there's only so much I can do on my end. Like one of the
Hmm.
Yeah.
reasons I did the Asajj Ventress fan film was is just as like almost like a concept reel to
Yeah.
cat hair everywhere of like hey, like hi, like I have the ability to play a character. I'm not just a stunt performer,
Yeah.
and that's one of the
100%.
the
Yeah.
things that sort of happens when you're in stunts is people think that you can only do stunts, and that's
No. Yeah.
a fallacy that exists within the industry. It's just sort of this old rhetoric of like, oh, you can only be one thing, and so one of the reasons I did the Ventress film was because I'm like, I just want to show you that I can embody a
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
It's a dream role for me, and I'm gonna like just put my hat in the ring, but
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. You're
Even
like, I can do
even
both.
so,
yeah,
even so on that again with all the martial arts stuff that I've seen with Michelle, like I say, extremely talented. You know, there's the new show,
thank
The
you.
Acolyte, coming up where they're sort of in The Acolyte. I think they're going more towards less lightsabers, so to speak, and more towards martial arts. Again, I just think you'd be a perfect fit in that universe as well.
I would hope so. Like I said, it's so much out of my control. One of the biggest barriers I find personally, and this is just like a little film thing, is that I'm Canadian
Yeah,
and I'm not living and working in the States. Yeah,
Well, I mean,
and because you're in Mission right now,
Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
am. So I'm at
and
like what, like an hour and a bit out of Vancouver. So
but it's really challenging for Canadians to sort of break the American market, and there is this idea that unless you're living and working in Atlanta or LA or New York, that you're
yeah.
not top tier, and it's a little bit different sort of after COVID where everything went
Yeah.
online. Like we do self tapes. Thank you. We do self tapes now rather than in-person auditions a lot of the time. So like the ability to be seen all over the world is there. And I've certainly
Yeah.
had casting directors from other big places reach out to me, and I've put things on tape. But I think like that is, if I could say that there's any like barrier, it's probably that thing, because if they're going to be shooting in the US, which I'm pretty sure the Acolyte shot in the UK,
Yeah.
from what I understand,
Probably.
but
Yeah.
it's
It's in
expensive to
Palmwood.
bring people in and pay for a
Mm-hmm.
visa, and when sometimes they don't necessarily have an appreciation for the level of
Yeah.
skill of things, and they're like,
Mm.
that's okay, we can just find somebody else that's cheaper to bring in. And so
It just
it's sort of
adds
that.
complication.
Yeah, and I've contemplated a visa, and I just, it's like this thing that I'm like, it's 20 grand. Like,
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a
Yeah.
nightmare.
do I
For a visa?
really do I yeah, 20 grand for a 3-year visa.
Oh
And
my
um
gosh.
like if I were going still full out in stunts, I could have gotten it years ago, but I've known for a couple years now that I'm like, I'm sort of in my sunset years of stunts, and I'm ready to move to acting. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
actually just more waiting for like some bigger acting credits to come in so that I can like
Yeah.
go that route, because that's a little bit more where I want to go. So I just sort of feel like I'm sometimes trapped here, even though I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, it's such a global economy and a global industry now that it shouldn't matter, but it does. And it's just one of
Mm-hmm.
those things. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. I know. I feel the same. I feel like we're like so far away from everyone, but
Yeah.
like we're in Vancouver. Like it's huge.
Yeah.
So I
And
don't
the
know.
film industry in Canada, specifically Vancouver and Toronto and Montreal and even Calgary now, like we are major hubs for film
Mm-hmm.
and television. And we
Yeah.
get big shows. Like we have great stuff going on right now. And as the industry is starting to like pick up again, it's just this like old idea of like, well, that's the way we've always thought about it. So it's gonna take decades for that to shift, and it is, and people are
Yeah.
starting to realize that there's a lot of really really great talent up here, and
Yeah.
and it's not that it's not tapped into, but there's just sort of this idea that, oh, but because it's the US, it has to be better, and it's not necessarily the case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice. With all your stunts and everything that you've done, what would you say the craziest stunt is that you've done?
The
I've seen you smash
craziest.
through a window.
Yes, that
That's
wasn't
probably
actually
like
that
nothing.
crazy. That one wasn't actually that bad. That was for a commercial, a U.S. national commercial for Liberty Mutual, and I went through a window and like hit the couch and then hit the breakaway table, and we only did 2 takes of that, and it was like pretty soft. The table really,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of the impact. The second take, which is not the take you see in there, I came in a little bit hotter just because I wanted to break more of the window, and I came in faster and like completely missed the couch and went straight to the table. And the coordinator was laughing at me. He's like, "You just you just skipped the couch completely. I just went straight to the
Jesus.
table."
And
And
you're just like, I gotta walk it off. I'll be right back.
yeah, I'm fine. It was fine. Well, because it was like that was an acting thing for me, so I had to like stand up and keep talking,
Oh,
and
perfect.
so and hold the laptop and not lose the laptop.
Oh
That one, yeah,
yeah.
that one wasn't that crazy. The craziest ones for me are usually the ones that aren't like the gnarliest.
Yeah.
I did do a stunt way back in the day. This would have been like 2012, like over 10 years ago. I was working on a show called Continuum, which is on Showcase.
Oh yeah.
And I was doubling the main actor, Rachel Nichols, and the coordinator put it to me. He's like, "Yeah, it's just a tumble down a hill." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm okay with that." And then we go to the location just to look at it. We couldn't rehearse it because it was kind of gnarly. So he's just like, "I just want you to see what we're working with." And they took us up into the GVRD, which is up into the mountains in
Yeah.
Vancouver. And there's all these like ravines. And he's like, "Yeah, so it's this." And it's just like 30-foot like straight down mountainous ravine with like trees and shrubs and stuff. And he's like, yeah, so you're gonna run, you're gonna leap at the stunt guy, grab him, and then like tackle him down the hill, and just like don't make sure he doesn't land on you so you don't break your neck. And then you just basically like tumble and fall down this hill, like don't hit any trees or anything. And like locations and the greens department, they like take out all the stuff that you might run into and clear the path a little bit. But it was just like super gnarly. Like it wasn't just a tumble down a hill, sir.
Throw yourself off this cliff.
Yeah, it's kind of because I was running from like 15 feet back and I'm like leaping 6 feet before the edge. So like I can't even see the edge. I'm just looking for the stunt guy, and then I have to pull him over. And there's rain towers, so it was just a mess. Like it was just a muddy mess.
Wow.
And it wasn't one of those ones that was super scary where you're like, oh, I don't feel good about this. It was sort of that roller coaster feeling where you're like, oh, I'm excited, but like, and I think we only did it 4 times because it was so gnarly, and long. And then at the end, I had to land on the like camera right of him or camera left of him and like stand up and point my gun at him. So like don't lose the gun, pull the stunt guy down, don't make him land on your face, tumble down and land in the right position.
Don't look hurt.
Yeah. And like if you hit a tree, just push off. And there was one take that I did find myself at a tree, and so I pushed off, and I don't know what parallel universe I entered, but suddenly I landed on my back in the pile of like branches and shrubs that they had cleared from the path. I don't know how I got there, but I was like turtling in this like pile of sticks. I'm like, I don't know how this happened. And it was like, how did you get there? I'm like, I don't know. Just went through this like wormhole.
Just a
and
detour.
Somebody had to help me out. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Again, I remember it so clearly.
You ever have a stunt that made you like, because like a normal person jumping off something, I myself don't love heights, but I've jumped off things, but it takes me a while to get psyched up. Has there ever been a stunt where you're like, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways because it's my job? Or
yeah, it's kind of like every stunt. I'm not an adrenaline junkie by any means. Yeah, no, it's not for the faint of heart. But that's funny because I don't like heights either. And when I was doing circus, I was almost more scared because I was like climbing up silks 40, 50 feet in the air and like performing a whole act. That scared me more than a lot of stunt stuff I did. But I was working on a show, I think it was called Forever 16, and I was doubling the lead. And when I got hired, they're like, yeah, so you're just going to do a couple fights and a little bit of motorcycle riding. I was like, cool, I can do that.
Sounds like fun.
Easy. And also I'm like, I don't stunt ride, but I'm a good rider and I can like hit a mark and drive off aggressively. And they're like, yeah, no problem. And so we're in Mission. And we're filming. It was December and it was like the middle of the night, 3 a.m. It was cold and I was wearing like this tiny little pleather outfit and
realistic.
finished, yeah, exactly. We just finished a couple fight scenes inside this lumber mill and then we came outside and it's like 3 a.m. I think we're done. And then the coordinator looks at me and he looks up at this big catwalk that's like 20, 30 feet in the air. And he's like, okay, so I want you to go up there and climb over the rail and you're going to do a backflip off and we'll put some boxes down for you and a pad, basically a mat for you to land in on the bottom. And then the actor will come and like do the actual landing. And I thought he was joking because it was just so like random and last minute. I was like, oh, he's like, no, go do it. I was like, oh,
right on. I'll get right up there.
and like, yeah, I don't love jumping and flipping off of things. That's not what I love doing. And so I remember going up there and like climbing over the rail and it was freezing and holding onto the rail. And I've got adrenaline and just being like, oh God. and the worst thing you could do as a stunt performer is chicken out. And so there's just this like inevitability of like, the longer I sit here and hold onto this railing, my hands are going to get cold and numb. But the longer I stand on the edge of this railing, the longer it's going to take for me to get to the bottom and this will be over. So there's just a part of you that has to just like, I know I have the capability to do this. It's just I have a bit of fear around it. I'm not going to do it. So you might as well just like shut that noise off and just jump. And so the thing that I often have to say to myself in these situations is don't think, just do. And that has served me well in my stunt career. And that's only because I've done so much training and I know my body and I
Yeah.
trust my body under situations of enormous pressure. But yeah, and like we did a couple where I just jumped off and landed in the rig, and then after that it was like, okay, so I gotta push off and push myself far enough away so that I don't kick the railing, and then do a backflip and land in the pads. And I think we maybe did it like 3 or 4 times, but every time, like, it didn't get easier. Every time I'm like
Really?
climbing over the railing, just like white knuckling it with like all this adrenaline.
Oh
And
my
being like, there
gosh.
is no way out of this other than to do this backflip right now.
Just
And and if I didn't think I was capable of doing it, I would have said no, but I knew I was. I just didn't want to.
yeah. See, if I was like, oh, just stop and do it, then I'd just do it and
Yeah.
break my whole body.
Yeah. Yeah. But some people, a lot of my friends and peers are like, they love that stuff. They live for that stuff. And I'm like,
Oh.
that is not, I
Kind of
take
like
calculated
And those are
risks.
the ones that die.
Well, those are the people that are stunt people for the rest of their lives. Whereas
Yeah.
me, I was
Oh
like, this is
god.
always just a moment. It's a
Yeah.
moment. It's a nice to know that I can do it.
It's on your
And
resume. Yeah.
exactly. It's not on my reel though, because they filmed it in some like weird, like slow mo. Like it was almost like a vision from the 80s where they have all this like effect after. So as I'm flipping, there's like different like
Oh, you're late.
of me flipping, and I'm like, I can't use that. That looks awful. I don't know what the artistic choice was on that, but it's not even on my reel. But it's fine. I did it. I'm proud of myself. It's fine.
You've
So,
done it.
Michelle,
You
I've got to
survived.
ask then. So, if I'm jumping over cliffs, motorcycle stunts, back flipping off stuff,
Mm-hmm.
what made you pick up a lightsaber?
Well,
Mm.
I've always loved like the original trilogy of Star Wars, and growing up as a baton twirler, I just have an ability to utilize and manipulate props.
I'll
Period.
say,
Mm.
Like that
yeah,
just lives within my body. There's nothing you could hand me that I'm not able to spin. Like even
yeah,
if it's like spatula, like
I
I got
love
it.
I love those videos. Like you with the remote control. Like I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And then I try and
Yeah.
it's like, nope, nope.
Yeah, so it was just sort of like a natural progression, especially
yeah.
like when I started doing stunts, I was diving into martial arts, and I found that martial arts was very complementary to my training that I did at a really intense high level when I was a kid. So like I was just able to get to a really advanced level in martial arts really quickly because I already had a base. And I
Yeah.
work with like Kali Eskrima is one of my favorite modalities of martial arts, and it's one of the ones I practice the most. So it's just lightsabers are there, and I was like, I could do this with a lightsaber. They're generally a bit longer and heavier than Kali sticks, but
Yeah.
all of that information translates, and it's one of the things that when I'm teaching my classes, I try to reiterate to people, or it's like I'm teaching you this skill with a staff, but if you can do this with the staff, you can do it with anything, because
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
props and tools and weapons, everything from like juggling to like hoop spinning to baton twirling to like weapons and martial arts, it all shares a universal language, because there's
Yeah.
only so much we can do with physics and mechanics in this current reality. And so if you
Yeah.
have a fixed point and a tool that is a straight line, it's always going to move in the same way. The intention
It's
behind the
as easy as
movement,
that. It's as easy as that.
it really is. And that's one of the things I try and teach to people is
Michelle.
like, like you don't like, just because you want to do this as a lightsaber, it doesn't negate any other training. Like all the
Yeah,
training you do helps build a foundation to do something else. And
It's so
it
funny. I have watched so many of your tutorials and you
mm-hmm.
have taught me how to wield a lightsaber and a staff.
Oh, nice.
And I've even signed up to come to your classes and then I've had to cancel last minute because Vancouver and Mission are just so far away. So,
Yeah.
but
Well, my classes
I
are in Coquitlam this time. So it's like sort of
are
halfway in
they?
between. Yeah, it
That
starts on
would
the
actually
17th.
be perfect. That would be perfect. Okay, well, I'm going to check it out and see if you have any spaces left. But as you were saying, with whatever weapon, just kind of once you kind of get it, I'll whip around a pitchfork or a shovel at my
God.
work,
Yeah.
Look
and
out
all the
Holland
other
household.
and
Look
all
out
the other
Vancouver Zoo.
landscapers are just like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I see them trying it themselves when I'm not really looking, and I'm like,
Of course.
"It's so fun."
I don't know why people are so ashamed to have like and like curiosities of things. That blows my mind. Like I think that's just the way I grew up, where I'm always just trying weird things. But
Yeah, that's how it
like
should
if you want
be.
to try, just try it. I get a lot of angry comments of people yelling at me of, "Why would you do
If
that?
you're ever
That's
in the
so
UK,
useless."
if you're ever in the UK, I'll give it a blast.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Well,
yeah.
well,
I'll
One
give
of
there's
it a
these
so
days,
shot.
we'll get over there.
there's always like one or two negative people commenting on your videos, and I love how you just shut them down right away. Like, I'm sorry to even bring it up, but like the one that you posted recently where he's like, "I'm glad your hair's long now," but I think it was just an old video of you. And you
Yeah,
posted a new photo or a video of you
yeah,
fixing your short hair, and I just loved it. Like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
you're so funny. Just
It's
be
it's
yourself.
it's so funny that like it's like the more these trolls comment, the more they're gonna see my videos. Like people don't
Yeah,
understand that about algorithms yet. Like where have
it's
you been?
it's just
But
helping
also
you.
it sometimes it just brings me such immense joy to like see these people like having meltdowns. There was it just last week there was people melting down in one of my comment section, and I'm like, you're helping this video go viral, so thank you. But like I it's so funny to me that people get so like about it. And honestly, I was told by every single adult and coach in my life growing up that I had a bad attitude. And I often get people like reacting to me, reacting to comments, being like, "You don't let them get to you." I'm like, no, 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 no. I was not told that I had a bad attitude my whole life, not to have a bad attitude sometimes. So if you're going to comment stupid stuff in my house, my platform, you're going to get some sass back. And where and how it happens is like I'm not going to respond to every negative comment,
This
but
is
like every
brilliant.
now and then if I get the impulse, why not? Like
There
This
you
just
go.
screams Ventress all
And that is
over.
a Saj
yeah.
Ventress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. She would never
honestly.
let something like that go. You are her girl. Oh my
Thank
So,
gosh.
you. Thank
some of
you.
the videos though, it's like we're spinning it around your armpit. There's one where you do like a cartwheel thing, and it looks like
Mm-hmm.
the lightsaber is just pure steel. And I think there was one where someone had added effects. It was like blasters were hitting you, but
Yeah.
then you were deflecting them back, and I was just like, wow. And the
Yeah.
internet, it I can remember it just took off. Like
Yeah.
everyone was
Yeah.
screaming, hire this woman now.
I don't know why they haven't reached out yet. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mental. I,
I
I truly think if Asajj doesn't come up, the Acolyte is perfect for you.
Yes,
Even to
yeah,
make your own
yeah.
gotta
character,
be. Yes,
has to
agreed.
be.
We'll
And
see.
obviously,
We'll
we're
see.
talking about your videos and reactions, and we know that Daisy Ridley
Mm-hmm.
was just literally gobsmacked. I know you obviously put out your own reaction video to Daisy, but just in your own words, in your own quick words as a summary, what was your reaction to Daisy?
It's like reactception.
Yeah,
It was really cool, and it kind of came out of nowhere. Like I wasn't expecting that at all.
yeah,
My agent at the time, I was on set. I was on another show, and I had put out that video from May 4th a couple of years ago. And I was on set, and my agent called, and she's like, "Hey, so this online magazine, Wired, is asking your permission to use your video in one of their segments where Daisy Ridley is gonna watch your video." I was like, "Yeah, cool. Like, yes,
yeah.
of course you have my permission." And then like the
You're
next
like, oh
day,
yes.
yeah, and I was just, but I didn't really understand at the time what they're like. Yeah, she's gonna watch my video, cool. And then it comes out the next day, and it's like this whole thing that like it's a longer video, but like this like 2 minute segment where she's watching my video and like, oh my god, and like
She's
I'm
so
like,
blown away too.
yeah, and it's like the ultimate validation for
Yeah,
me. And the bonus part is when I was young and Batman Returns came out and Michelle Pfeiffer was playing Catwoman, like
Mm.
I was just like, oh, I want want to be her. Like, I love Catwoman, and her name's Michelle, and like, it's meant to be. And in that segment, she's like, Michelle C. Smith, is that Michelle Pfeiffer's real name? So she mentions
Yes.
Michelle Pfeiffer, and then like the whole
Yes.
like Catwoman full circle thing happens, and I'm just like,
I would love to see. I would love to see Daisy and you go at it.
Oh my gosh.
I would love to, honestly. Like, I know she gets so much hate from the fandom, and it's really unfortunate because she's done like a really great job in that character, and it's a challenging. It's like the same thing that like Hayden Christensen went through when he came up as
Yeah.
Anakin and did the Darth Vader thing. Like, it's such a massive universe to enter, and these actors, like, they're just coming in and putting down their best with what they're given,
Yeah.
and so much of the other stuff is not about them. Like, once you come in and you do your job on the day, but then what happens to the end product has nothing to do with you. Like, they have no control or say in any of that.
Yeah.
And then they're the people, because they're the front of the product, they're the people that receive the backlash when it has nothing to do with them. And that's so unfortunate that people feel the need to be that horrible to people, when if they were in that position, they would not do even remotely close to that sort of work or have that capability that those people have. And so it's just one of those things. I feel like a lot of empathy for her, but I love that she's sort of coming back into it, and she's a lot more like
I think it all goes
groundedness.
back. I know a lot of Star Wars people, not self-entitled, but they know what they want, so to a degree. But like J.J. Abrams said to Daisy, that this isn't a role for a movie. This is religion for some people. And that's what so many people they are really passionate about it. I get it.
Exactly.
And obviously, like you've already said about the trolls and that you've come through. You know, you've got to be able to take the heat as well.
Yeah,
Rich.
yeah, and obviously her up in front of a lot more people than my silly little lightsaber videos on the internet. But it really does affect you. Like, there are times when comments get to me, for sure. I wouldn't be human if they didn't affect me, or I didn't like have like a but you just don't know, and you have to be really good at letting that slide off of you, and it's really, really hard sometimes. And that's part of being in a front-facing career where you're allowing people to see you.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I think anyone that wants to troll you, Michelle, troll at a safe distance at least.
Yeah.
Well, I do have learned technically how to kill somebody with like martial arts and stuff. So, but not that I would ever. But like, these people, they have no idea. Like, they're
at a
at
safe
home
distance,
playing video games, and like, and a lot of times, one of the things that I see a lot is people's. It's just a mirror for people's own insecurities and the stuff they got going on. And like, sometimes they hit something that like affects me because I have an insecurity about that. But most of the time it's like, you're just screaming about yourself, sir.
Yeah.
Like, this has nothing to do with me. Nothing. And the fact that they just like have meltdowns, like where they're leaving like chunks of text like this. And I'm like, this is all you. Like, you're telling on yourself here.
Man.
So obviously, with all your videos, Michelle, I've got to ask you, how many lightsabers do you own?
How many? Oh gosh. I will say, I've only ever purchased one myself. The rest have been gifts and things people have sent to me. So I feel very privileged, and I'm very grateful that people send me their lightsabers. They trust me to utilize it, and they want to know my opinion about it. I'd say I have like probably like 10 to 12 of them, I would think.
Wow. Nice.
I have about four from Elegant Weapons. That's the ones that I use the most. I find that they're the most reliable, they're the most durable, because the thing is with the lightsabers, you're gonna drop it. Period.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my next question. How many have you broke?
Yeah, only one so far.
That's good.
Only one, and it was the Ultra Sabers one, and I because it was the first one that I got. I think that they might have changed their model now, but it had like inside the lightsaber, it just had like 4 AA batteries, and so every time I drop it, the batteries would pop out.
Oh no!
And I just was like, this is not meant for this, and that's a lot of what I find with lightsabers is they're not meant for movement and spinning. They're meant to look cool and like replicas of things.
Yeah.
So I'm very specific with the type of sabers I use, which is why I use elegant weapons, because they're just sleek. There's nothing to that. Like when they have bits and bobs on it, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to. If it's too heavy, I don't want to touch it.
Like the Anakin lightsaber with all the buttons and knobs, you just get so many blisters from them. Like it's just to look at that point, just for looking.
And if you want to put one on your mantle, absolutely, yeah. Even a lot of people ask me like, you should do something with Kylo Ren's saber, and I'm like,
cut my wrist
really
off.
huge.
It's
really
so
heavy.
and it's not practical, and
no.
But I have a couple actually lightsabers that I just got sent to me that I'm going to do some videos of, but I'm very picky with the lightsabers that I use, and I've often thought, I'm like, oh, if I got on the show, like, would I have to like tell them like, no, like if you want me to do stuff, it has to be like this, and this, and I don't know what they're giving the actors these days for props, and so I'm always happy to receive somebody's saber and try it out. But I am very, very picky with which ones I'm going to use. And I find the ones, I don't have a NeoPixel blade yet, but I'm scared to get one because I'm positive that I would break it on the first drop. I feel like those ones are a little bit more delicate, but they're the ones with like the elegant weapons ones. It's just a button, turn it on and it's on. Click it, turn it off. I like that. But the ones where you have to like, it has the sound
push it
card
10
and
times.
and has the light changing, and I just like, I do not. It's like
have
Morse code to like get it to the
like,
system, and then you actually tap it, and then it changes the feature, and then you don't know what you did. Like those ones, drive me insane.
That's what I
most
have.
of them are that. I think a lot of the lightsabers have the same like motherboard program in them, and then they just change the outside of it, which is fine. Like it's efficient, especially because a lot of lightsaber companies are small companies. They're small businesses that really passionate fans have built, and so I want to appreciate that. But those ones kind of drive me insane, and like I just want to be able to turn it on and turn it off. I don't need sound. I do not want to practice with sounds. I don't like. I'm very picky.
Yeah, it's hard to hide it from all your neighbors when the noises are going nuts. So that's what
I am a very sound sensitive person, and I don't want extra sounds in my environment. It kind of like drives me a little bit nuts,
distracting you.
and like. And then it's too loud, or it's making sounds that, like, because it's cool when they have the what's it called? It's a certain feature where it lines up with your
swing.
Movement. Smart swing
or smooth
something
swing
like that.
Or something like that.
Smooth swing, something. And like I think that's a really cool concept, but on video it doesn't translate very well.
No.
So if I were to use that and then want to use that as the lightsaber sounds, I would still have to edit the sounds on top of that.
The sound off. Yeah.
So to me,
that makes sense.
But some people really like that, and some people want the effects and things like that. I have a couple sabers where where you swing and you movement, and it has the light reacts and sort of changes color.
That's what
I think that's cool. Mostly, I just don't know how to turn it off. So it's just the way it is.
Yeah, don't lose that paper that it comes with. But Michelle, so what's next for you? Do you have anything coming up or plans?
Well, I have plans, lots of plans, always have plans. I'm still teaching classes. I have my Freestyle Staff Academy that I'm working really hard to bring some people in to help me so that it doesn't solely rely on me. And I'm going to start doing a beginner teachers training for Freestyle Staff. So people can learn how to teach it at a beginner level, and that way it's going to help spread the staff spinning,
lighten the weight.
But also there's only so much I can do on my own, and if I have students that have been with me for like 5 or 6 years now, and they're absolutely capable of teaching the beginning level. And so I'm really working on a teacher's training program, and I want it to be something where people can make a living doing it and can share it in rent. Because I always get, do you have classes in Texas? Do you have classes in the UK? Do you have classes here? And I'm like, I can't be everywhere, but I could be everywhere. And if it helps people financially in this time, then I'm really happy for that. Like, a big part of Freestyle Staff, the way I've set it up, is the accessibility of learning the skills, because they obviously translate to like any weapon you want to do. Start with just spinning a bow staff. So I'm working on that. I have my Vancouver classes starting on February 17th, and then I'm running an online 6-week session starting in May, on May 5th. So there's that. I'm doing my best in the film industry to move it. It's still a little bit slow to get going after the strikes. We all thought that as soon as the strikes were over, it was just going to be like, oh, yeah, but it's actually been quite slow for a lot of people. There's a lot of people still not working, myself included. Like, I'm still just, okay, I'm here, I'm doing my part, but again, like, so much of that is out of my control. And like, I just want to audition for things.
Well, I wish you all the best, Michelle. I genuinely do think that there's definitely a part for you in the Star Wars universe, whether it's a soldier or not. 110%. Even if it was down to the case of teaching these actors that are coming in to be the next round of Jedis,
I would love to. That's like one of my favorite things to do. And like, I if I'm not acting and performing, I'm fight coordinating and training actors. It goes hand in hand. So I if they just brought me in to teach them how to do a couple tricks,
100%. 100%.
Just on set,
very
would be
happy.
So wonderful.
I just want to put it on the resume, but I just want the experience and the validation of being like, okay, like, I'm here, I'm a professional, like, I know what I'm doing.
Awesome. Before we wrap it up, then, Michelle, if you want, again, you just want to give a quick roundup or round down of your classes and everything you're doing, where people can find you on the social media. Just promote your stuff.
Thank you. So I'm on Instagram and TikTok the most. The handle is at michelle.c.smith. It's the same on both platforms. Anything you want to find in terms of what stabs I'm using, what lightsabers I'm using, where to sign up for my classes, or maybe to join my free course, is all in the link in my bio. It's very easy. We all know how to click on things in the internet now.
Yes.
My Vancouver classes run for 6 weeks starting on February 17th. And they're in Coquitlam. I say Vancouver, but they're in Coquitlam. And then the online classes start May 5th. But I also have on my academy, there's a whole membership where you get like 100+ tutorials. I have combo courses where it's like, learn this combo, here are the skills. I also have a free course if you don't want to pay money. I have tons of free tutorials and cool videos on YouTube. Just look up Michelle Krista Smith. You'll find me. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. Again,
thank you so much for having me. This was lovely.
Absolutely, no doubt we'll be seeing you at a Star Wars celebration. You know, if Disney are watching this, hire this woman
putting
now.
It out there. Just putting it out there. I'm ready. Like, I'm sitting here. I'm ready.
She's here.
Thank you very much for joining the show, Michelle. We'll put all your stuff as usual on our Facebook group as well, so they know where to find you on our socials. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle.
That's awesome.
Go practice my lightsaber skills now. Okay, explorers, and that was our interview with Michelle C. Smith. We really hope you enjoyed that, and as always, please reach out to us on all our socials at Explore the Force on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok,
whatever else.
Yes, if it's social media, we're at Explore the Force there.
So, as always, from Taylor,
for light and life,
and from me, Roger.
And for all of us, we have spoken.
See you next week.
Woo! See ya! Don't break your lightsabers.